Hello and welcome to Chicken Bros. My name is David Heath.
You could use a man like you.
No. And this is the last episode of this current season of Doctor Who, named Empire of Death. So if you watched,
many things happen.
so if you watched the episode before this one, you know that it left off on a huge cliffhanger.
Wait, did we do that episode yet?
Yeah, we did that one. This is the only one we haven't done.
Okay.
A little behind the scenes actions there, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, on the last episode, the TARDIS and Doctor and Ruby were in unit. Some shit went down, and basically we found out that Sutek, the old classic Doctor Who villain from the Fourth Doctor days, who was banished to the Time Vortex, is actually alive. And we find out in this episode that the reason he's alive is because he clung onto the TARDIS and has been hiding in invisibility there ever since.
That makes you think Doctors 5 through 14 a little differently, don't you?
Yeah, you think of every possible event where the TARDIS, in any situation, okay, so Sutek's chilling there. Which, I don't mean to diverge from the plot of this episode real quick, but I just want to say, 50th anniversary at the end, there's 3 TARDISes in a row in that museum. So there's 3 Suteks just chilling there going, hey, you hiding too? Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
It also makes me think of something else, but I'll wait till we're done with the episode to bring that up. So anyway, the Doctor and Mel and Ruby are in the time window thing, trying to figure out what to do because the TARDIS, the real TARDIS, has been commandeered by Harriet Arbinger and Sutek, and basically because he's been clung to it so long, he knows how to maneuver it and bend it to its will, and so he basically keeps the Doctor from getting inside it, but the Doctor can use the time window to create what's called a remembered TARDIS, which is not as big on the inside, but it's kind of like the inside's kind of a amalgamation of every TARDIS that ever was. It's got all the things in there.
To borrow from what's that guy's name? Perry Grip, it's a backyard hodgepodge.
And I don't know what he's talking about. But
it was from an episode of Phineas and Ferb,
oh, is it?
where Perry Grip was a special guest. Which, yes, they made use of the "Where's Perry" joke.
Huh. But yeah, so Sutek, so the whole Susan Twist thing was that every time the Doctor landed on Earth, there would be this woman who basically was acting like his angel of death, and every time he landed on anytime the Doctor landed anywhere, it would create a person so that when this day came, when Sutek would reveal himself, those people would be dispersing his dust of death, which as soon as this dust touches you, you're dead. And
yeah, think Thanos.
Yeah, Thanos. If instead of a snap, it's dust touching you.
Yeah.
And it's not half of all life, it's all life. Anything that lives that touches this dust dies.
And it sucked so bad
because we watched all these characters. We saw a unit die. We saw Kate Lethbridge Stewart dust away.
And that pissed me off. I was literally like, no.
Yeah, this dude was like mad, and I was like, what? Are you kidding me? They killed Kate, and then they started killing. They killed Cherry. They killed Mrs. Flood. They killed Carla. I was like,
she never even got her cup of tea.
And I'm thinking, okay, I'm sure this is going to be reversible, but like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. And it's like I said, any planet the Doctor has landed on, it's not just Earth, but like so many planets are dying, suns are going out, to the point where the only living things in existence are the Doctor, Ruby, Melanie, and Sutek's Angels of Death. But that's because he needs to kill everything. And the Doctor actually kind of like,
it's so hard.
Yeah, the Doctor actually kind of realized, like, well, hang on, why aren't you killing me? I'm an extinction event waiting to happen, and you're not killing me. There's a reason you're not killing me. And so they, the Doctor, Ruby, and Melanie get away on the remembered TARDIS, and it actually flies. It's kind of clunky, but it's because it's not a full TARDIS, but it's all they got right now. And he opens the doors to space and sees everything just kind of dying and going out. Like, there's absolute silence. There's no noise in the universe. And he like broke down and like just started screaming out into nothingness. And I was like, oh gosh. And of course he blames himself too, because he's like, I did this. I went to all those worlds. This is my fault. Doc, it's not your fault.
Buddy.
It's Sutek. You couldn't have known this was going to happen. He was just... Oh, man, it was so hard to watch. And so it kind of shows you how every planet was affected by this, because he goes to some other planet where there's one woman who's still alive. The death wave hadn't hit her yet, and she's kind of like in like... I think it was supposed to be like a farmer's market, or at least that's what it looks like. But it's like all covered by tarps, and they're talking about like how heavy all of this is and how it's hit them, and apparently memory is starting to die because she can't remember her name, her baby's name, anything. Like, she can't even remember her own husband. The only thing she can remember about him is that he was tall. And so the doctor asks her if she has any metal, and she gives him a spoon, and he goes, I promise you I will use this spoon. I might even save the universe with this spoon. And I'm thinking, okay, that spoon's going to be essential, because he wouldn't have said that if he didn't mean it. And then the woman, this killed me, man, because earlier she said, like, she looked to a baby's crib, or like little, I don't know, baby pram, yeah, I guess so, and said, hush now, darling, like, but we didn't hear anything. And and then later she goes, I think my daughter died and I forgot. And like, oh, that's why we didn't hear anything, because her baby's dead. And she says the death wave is perverse. It can go forwards and backwards. It can go from child to mother. And I was like, oh, that's why it hasn't hit you yet. And then she goes, and the doctor's like, I promise you, with a spoon. And then he takes the spoon and shoves it into that screen, because apparently he needed something quote-unquote real in order to make it work, not just like TARDIS memory. And it shows... it's funny because it's like clips from the episode in which the Fourth Doctor banished Sutekh to the time vortex, and he's like trying to figure out what's going on, and then Ruby says, why did Sutekh go on the attack? And then when she says that, a flash of her mother shows up on the screen. It's like, wait a minute, say that again. And then she does, and then it happens again. He's like, the screen's trying to answer you. It's giving you some kind of clue. He's like, well, what's my mother got to do with this? And he's like, I don't know. Or maybe that's the point. We don't know, and Sutekh doesn't know either. Maybe that's what he's keeping us alive for. And then, something else happens, and then we see Roger Ap William again from the episode 73 Yards. And how come you sound far away, bro?
Sorry, I was eating, so I put my mic away from my face.
Oh, okay, sorry. But we see him, and the doctor's like, but that's 2046, you don't know him, do you? And Ruby's like, no, I couldn't, could I? And she genuinely doesn't remember that happening, because it, time reset. And the doctor wasn't there to witness it, so he doesn't know what's going on. But then he makes the connection that when he becomes prime minister, and the most dangerous prime minister in the world, by the way, he makes, what's it called? Like, DNA identification, like, mandated. Like, the reason that Ruby couldn't find her mother before was because she never had a blood sample, but come 2046, she won't have a choice. So that means if she still lives by 2046, she'll be on record. So the doctor uses the remembered TARDIS to go to 2046, find her on the record, and then they'll find out more about Ruby's mother. And this is when Sutekh starts creeping into Mel's mind and starts to try to get her to submit to his power, because he needs to know that too, because once he knows that, because apparently that, I mean, we know why now, but like in this point in the episode you don't know why, but for whatever reason Ruby's mother is essential to Sutekh's plan. Like, he can't continue what he's doing until he figures that out. And we're all just like, we're sitting here going, why does that matter? And we still don't know who Ruby's mom is at this point.
Yeah, it was killing me too. I was like, are you like, come on?
So they make it to like this this building where they have the records, and so they hook up the screen to this thing, and then the snow starts falling, and like the doctor uploads Ruby's blood into the thing via the sonic screwdriver, and then unfortunately Melanie becomes
Sutekh.
Yeah, Sutekh. And transports them somehow. Still didn't really understand that. Back to Unit where Sutekh is. And Ruby's got the screen with the readout on it. And I don't know what he started doing to the doctor, but like he started like binding him to the floor. And Ruby's like, no, leave him alone. I'll give you the name if you just leave him alone. And then she's like, I don't understand what this means. I've waited all my life to find this out, and I don't understand it, but maybe you can. Holds it up to him. Maybe this is for you. Drops it and says, you great big god of nothing. And I'm like, oh shit, Ruby!
And me being a
Ruby simp
for Ruby, I was like, oh, that's my girl right there.
Yeah, because the doctor caught on to what Sutek was doing to Mel, because he felt her hand and was like, she's too cold. So Ruby takes a rope, hooks it onto Sutek's, he's wearing like a Egyptian thing around his neck, and then he uses the smart gloves to pull him, or at least pull the rope. Actually, that's the thing. He had a whistle from the remembered TARDIS, and he's like, I love a whistle. And I was like, well, that's random. But turns out it was to call the TARDIS. He can communicate and control the TARDIS via a whistle. Of course he can. And then he uses it to maneuver this like thruster that's inside the TARDIS to get it out of Sutek's grip. Bring it back to him. He pulls the rope inside the TARDIS and hooks it to the console. He goes, I'm back! And then he, by pulling him on a rope, pulls Sutek back into the time vortex. And he says, Sutek, what happens if you bring death to death? You bring life! And he drags him across the time vortex and undoes all the death he did. Everybody that dusted away comes back. Kate, Carla, Cherry, Miss Flood. I don't know what's up with her.
We still don't fucking know, and that pisses me off.
Yeah, but everybody who died comes back. Even that lady on the planet with her baby, she gets her baby back. Yeah. And I mean, I was in absolute tears when this was going on. This was a very emotional episode, and I got really emotional when
I was laughing my ass off at Sutek being dread like a bad doggy.
Really? Because Sutek appears kind of like is it a dog?
He looks like a jackal. He looks kind of like
he kind of looks like an Anubis. Yeah, an Anubis. Yeah. So, but like then, because he's dragging him by rope and it's hanging out the door, the doctor goes, Sutek, you did this to me. You pushed me to this point. Because if you're death, I have to be life. You made me do this. I'm now the bringer of death. Sutek tries to jump at the TARDIS, and the doctor closes the door, snapping the rope. And Sutek dies in the time vortex. Like, he basically, like sizzles away. And then when everything's back to normal, back at unit, they find out who Ruby's mom is, and it's honestly an average woman.
Who had Ruby at 15.
Yes, and okay, so like the thing, the dialogue was
the way they introduced her, like had her at, like had you at 15, came from an abusive home. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I was like, but then they said father also 50, and I was like, oh, thank God. I mean, that's still not good, but it's better than the alternative.
Yeah.
And, you know, Ruby was like, I don't understand. If she's, like, an average person, how did she defeat Sutek? And she's like, the doctor says, because we associated her with such significance that she became more powerful than a Time Lord or even, like, you know, gods of beyond comprehension. I was like, I like that. Like, that associating something with such importance that it becomes so powerful. I like that. And then they were like, but why was she pointing at you? And then the doctor's like, she wasn't pointing at me. She was pointing at the street sign that said Ruby Road. She was naming you. And I love that. I was like, all this time I thought I got my name from social workers, but she was naming me. I got it from my mom. I'm Ruby Sunday. I loved that. And then the doctor and Ruby go to where she is in modern day. And she's got a, like, you know, a nice life. She's got a fella named Mike. She's going to Spain in a few weeks. He's like, the thing is that should we do this? Like,
I mean, in Meet the Robinsons, they didn't do it, so I thought that Ruby wasn't gonna. I thought she was like, you know what? No, she's got her own life to live. She doesn't need me. Whatever.
I honestly thought she was gonna sit down and then try to do it, but then she would, like, mentally in her head go, actually no. But she orders a coffee, sits across from. Her name is Louise, by the way. Sits across from Louise. And the guy at the counter goes, Ruby? For the coffee's ready. And, you know, they both look up and she goes, that's me. And then she looks at Louise and tells her, like, I was born and named after a road. Like, you had me when you were 15 and, like, you were keeping me safe thank you so much for that. And they were like, they were crying, and they were hugging, they were reuniting, and it was so beautiful.
So sweet.
And then she takes her home to meet Cherry and Carla. And like, I was worried because Louise was saying every Christmas I was like, this is the year I'm going to do it. But every time I would think, what if she hates me? And Cherry goes, there's no hatred in this house, love.
Cherry, always with the words of wisdom.
And then Ruby goes to the doctor in the TARDIS to say, like, we're going to catch up with my mom and then you and I can head out. And by the look on the doctor's face, I was already like, oh no. And, you know, then she gets a text from Unit saying they found her dad, who at this point didn't even know Ruby was born. And the doctor, seeing all this happening, is like, look, I've shown you planets, adventures, gods, but your adventure's out there. Your life is happening out there now. It's basically saying this is where we say goodbye. And she says, will I see you again? And he goes, of course you will. And then she points out rather snarkily, not snarkily, but like kind of matter-of-factly, like, but your granddaughter, you left her behind and didn't go back. And he goes, yeah, and that was my mistake. But I will see you again because you changed me. I talk about family in a way that I never did before because of you. And so let me just go ahead and say this. I'm talking to the audience, to anyone who's listening to this. Ruby will be back, and she will be a very important part to Season 2, as confirmed by Russell T Davies himself. So, she's not going anywhere. Quit spreading that bullshit.
I like her. I want more of her.
And there will definitely be more of her. I don't know if she'll be in the Christmas special, but she'll definitely be in Season 2. That being said, he says, now, Ruby Sunday, goodbye, and she's in tears, and before she leaves, she turns and says, I love you. Now, he didn't say it back. Now, I get why, and I was a little, like, at first about that, but, like, I see that now as she didn't say I love you as in, like, romantically.
The way that Rose Tyler would have said it.
Right, the way Rose Tyler definitely would have said it. No, I think she said that, like, I love you like your family. You're part of my family now.
Yeah.
And I think the doctor knew that. Right.
Well, Donna Noble or Rose Noble would have said it.
Right. And I think...
Oh, by the way, Rose works at Unit now.
Yes, she does. Rose Noble, that is.
Awesome.
Yes. And...
That was awesome. I love her for that.
And I think the doctor knew what Ruby meant, which is why I think he didn't say it back. And she leaves the TARDIS, and as soon as she's gone, he breaks down. He's crying. I'm like, no!
Shooty, you beautiful genius.
Shooty, okay. I don't know who listening to Chicken Bros knew this before. But when I started watching Doctor Who exactly 2 years ago, Matt Smith was my favorite Doctor. He's been bumped to number 2 now. Because Shooty, this man of amazing talent, has shown his brilliant acting prowess as the Doctor. He's so good. And I can't wait to see more of him.
See, you know I love Shooty, David.
Mm-hmm.
And so do our fans if they've been watching our videos about this specific incarnation of the Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
But I still love 10 more just because of the memory.
I know, and I'm not blaming you for that. I'm just saying, me personally, Matt Smith is now taking second place.
I really like Shooty.
Shooty's so good, man.
He's as charismatic and funny as he is dramatic.
Absolutely. And when he gets dramatic, he gets so dramatic, and then when like Sutek reveals him, it's like, I damn you, Sutek, I damn you. It was so powerful, man.
That was his I am the Doctor moment.
I think his I am the Doctor moment was at the end when he was dragging him through this time vortex, being like, you did this to me. That performance mixed with the music that's going on in the background is just so grand and so epic. It's so good. I was literally crying during that scene.
You're more musically inclined than I am, so you would notice that.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who doesn't know this about me, I like music. I've been practicing music for over 10 years now, and music just moves me in a way, especially score music in like movies and TV shows. Like, those really move me.
I mean, shit, it can move me too, but it has to be really, really, like, out there. Like, it has to...
It definitely has moved you, because Prince of Egypt.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Prince of Egypt is a perfect example. The Burning Bush is still one of the greatest fucking orchestrations I've ever heard, especially... You know what? No, I'm not going into that. If we ever do a review on Prince of Egypt, I will go into this.
Well, I need to rewatch it, because I haven't seen it since I was a kid. But...
You do need to rewatch it.
But...
It's a Hans Zimmer movie. You have to, as a Hans Zimmer fan, have to rewatch it.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of other Hans Zimmer movies I haven't seen. But...
Yeah, but that one's.
But I want to say, the way you feel every time you watch the burning bush scene, that's how I felt when I saw that scene in this finale. I was like, the music was swelling the emotion in me, man. I was like, oh my gosh. And, Shooty's performance was definitely helping it too, because he was just so torn apart and angry because he had to do this.
To quote Prince Naveen from Princess and the Frog, he was very charismatic.
But this episode ends with Ruby and her family sitting down to dinner, and then Mrs. Flood narrating, like, so that ends the story of the church on Ruby Road, and a happy ending for Ruby Sunday. But you're probably wondering what happened to that time-traveling man known as the Doctor. I'm sorry to say it, but his story ends in complete tragedy. Night-night, and then it cuts off. So we don't learn... Yeah, who are you? Who are you? Yeah, but that was the finale to this season of Doctor Who, and we will see him again in the Christmas special, which, yes, comes out at Christmas. Man, this was a great season. I loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know what all the hate on the internet's about. You people are... Well, not everybody, but those of you who are doing it are weird.
It's mostly about Shooty being black, honestly. That's...
No, that's not at all what I've heard people saying. They think that the writing's lazy, which lazy? What are you talking about? I don't know what these people are doing, but like, I don't know. But anyway, this was a great season. I'm excited to see more. I can't wait to see season 2, which is actually series 15. The numbering of this series is getting a little confusing, but. There's going to be a new companion who hang on. I made a point to remember this because the little known fact about me, Chicken Bros fans, I'm not bilingual, so I don't know how to speak certain names from other languages and other cultures properly. So sometimes I have to look up pronunciation keys because I do not want to butcher names on the internet. So if I'm still getting this wrong, somebody please correct me, because the last thing I want to be is rude or ignorant or anything like that. But Varda Setu is going to play the next companion to Shooty's Doctor, along with Millie Gibson.
She was in an episode already.
Yeah, she was in Boom. She played Mundy Flynn, which I don't think she's going to be Mundy Flynn in the next series.
Obviously.
Well, I mean, I could be wrong. She might be. I don't know.
Or she could be Mundy Flynn's ancestor.
Ancestor, descendant, who knows? I don't know. That's the beauty of Doctor Who, is that you never really have a clear answer until they tell you.
Peter Capaldi's previous role was related to the Doctor.
So. Yeah, it could be that situation, or might not be. We'll never know we'll not never know. We won't know until the series comes out. But with that is the end of the season and under our review. I don't know about but I'm giving this finale a solid 10 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10 because of all the pain it caused me. It was great, but it hurt.
But that hurt was necessary.
I know it.
I'm just messing with you. That's fine. And we'll see.
It still hurts, man.
I know. And we'll see you next time, Chicken Bros fans.